It all starts with finding the users where they are in the user journey. It's really important starting with where the users are and really driving them towards a purchase funnel. If you have a better understanding of the kind of customers that engage with or have an appetite for your product or your brand, you can then find the right publishers, almost like reverse engineering.
You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast brought to you by Affyversemedia.com, the chapter and verse of everything you need to know about running a successful affiliate program for your business. Now, here's your award-winning affiliate and performance marketing host, an industry veteran, your affiliate marketing guide, and the founder of Affyverse, Leanne Johnston.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, the show where we decode performance partnerships, bust some myths, and dive deep into affiliate strategies that are shaping the future of our industry. Now, if you've been in the space for a while, you'll know that there's often a bit of a skepticism when it comes to affiliate networks and sub-networks, especially around transparency, value, and control. But today we're busting those myths wide open with someone who knows this landscape inside out. Joining me this week is Gaurav Arora, responsible for global partnerships over at Skimlinks, a Taboola company, and a respected voice in content-driven commerce and partner monetization. And I'm excited to talk with him. We're going to get down and dirty and talk about why affiliate managers shouldn't be so quick to discount working with affiliate networks, what the best practices are when you are working with them, and how you can leverage full funnel partner activations in your program to drive incremental growth for your business. Ready to tune in and hear more? Let's begin. Gaurav, welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you on the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this week, which is brought to you by Everflow.io, our generous season sponsors this week. I am excited to dig deep and to get to know a little bit more about you and your experience in the affiliate marketing industry. And I think that's probably one of the best places to start. So I'm going to hand over the mic and I'm going to ask you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, how you got into affiliate marketing, because that's always an interesting story. And then we'll kick off with this week's episode.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. So I started in the affiliate marketing space back in 2011, 2012. And since then, it's been quite a ride. I've been very fortunate to work and gain a lot of experience from companies like Awin, Dentsu, CJ, and I'm currently at Skimlinks, looking after geo expansion and global partnerships for a good part of 18 months now.
All the big names there in the industry. So you didn't go in low and start, moving up the ladder. You just kind of went straight in there into all the main players.
Well, yeah, it's the truth. So like I said, I've been very privileged and lucky to actually have to work for companies and such great minds in the last 11, 12 years. So I do consider myself to be very lucky. So the affiliate marketing landscape, I think it's undergone significant change in the last 10 years. Yeah. And I think with a more at a more accelerated pace in the last 3 to 4 years, there's been new kind of publisher types. You look at, tracking mechanisms, and overall there is greater confidence among advertisers in leveraging affiliates as a part of their digital marketing strategy. And I think that's very much evident in, if you look at just over 1.6 billion that was spent in the channel in UK alone last year. So I think it's safe to say that as an industry, we've come a long way with affiliate marketing really now having a diverse publisher ecosystem that appeals to merchants across verticals and all sizes.
And it's a really interesting story because whenever I ask people this question, they've got such a diverse, entrance into the marketplace. And that brings with it a whole bunch of skills and thought processes as well in terms of how affiliates should be run. So we're going to dig into some of that today. My first question for you, obviously, is to talk about the context around networks. So there seems to have been a growing narrative that direct partnerships are more valuable than working with affiliate networks. And I kind of want to start our conversation and our story for this episode there because there's a lot of different thought processes on this. Older, more experienced people like me believe that there's a place within the affiliate program and within your affiliate strategy to be working with, sub-networks or alternative networks, if you want to call it that. Other people newer coming into the industry are just categorically saying, no, I don't want to do that. There's no transparency. I don't know how to build trust. I don't know who these partners are. So maybe let's kind of tackle the elephant in the room and start there and actually, get your thought process of why do you think some affiliate managers are too quick to discount working with sub-networks and what they're potentially missing out on if they do?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great question. There's some key elements within that. I feel, firstly, let's talk about affiliate networks, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you've been here for so long working in the industry, and so have I. And I feel affiliate networks are fundamental to the growth of this industry.
They have been.
And whether you talk about the tech, the platform, the ease of go-to-market, the scalability, I think we can go on and on about the benefits that they provide to, like I said, merchants of all sizes and scale. So, they help hundreds of thousands of advertisers set up their affiliate programs and then grow revenue from those, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's really, really important that we all acknowledge that and continue working with them because they've done such a great job in advancing the industry. Now, whilst I appreciate that direct partnerships have their place, I think it really depends on the advertiser, what they're trying to achieve, what are their wider goals. And I think the education and educating, whether it's educating clients, whether it's educating people who don't really belong to this channel, is really important. And I do say that because I feel like in recent times, I've seen a lot of affiliate managers almost assuming the role of order takers. And they are not willing to challenge senior stakeholders within their business or their clients because they just want an easy life, or they're probably just worried that the message isn't going to be, it wouldn't land well, or it wouldn't resonate with an audience. So I think it's really important affiliates isn't a standalone kind of plug and play, right? None of the channels are. And I think it's really important that you're using affiliate strategies as a part of, your wider digital kind of strategy and tactics based on what you want to achieve, whether that's high attraction, whether that's more clicks, whether that's conversions, whether that's brand awareness. It has a role to play in, each one of those. So I think it really depends on how you're using it and how do you orchestrate the right publishers, the right diversity, the right commercial models to be able to then achieve what you want to.
The other thing as well is you touched on two things there. One, networks have helped thousands of brands to grow and scale their programs, but they've also helped thousands of affiliates and traffic drivers to get connected to brands that can actually convert their traffic. So I think you play an integral role in terms of, the growth of the industry and nurturing those relationships and bringing those new partners into the kind of melting pot that we work with in affiliate marketing. But you also can help direct strategies. And the key thing that I want to kind of point out here is when I speak to most clients that come to us and, have affiliate programs and they're integrated with multiple networks, I ask them, why are you working with all of these networks? What is the thought process behind connecting to this one and this one and this one? And often they don't have a strategy, and therein lies the problem. They just go, I want more affiliates. Well, connecting to multiple networks isn't necessarily going to bring you more affiliates. I mean, simplistically speaking, yes, it does, because you're plugging into a whole new network of publishers. But most of those publishers work across multiple networks anyway. So unless you eking out a strategy and understanding what does this network do for you as a partner, where does it fit into that segmented mix of, partners that you want to work with to grow and leverage and do different things with, and not necessarily just sales, but also maybe even leveraging networks to get into a new vertical or a new niche, or maybe some networks are strong in certain geographic locations and they can kind of speed wobble your entry into a new market because they've already got an established kind of growth set and partnerships in those spaces. So I think it's really important that before you just go ahead and discount working with networks, you actually figure out why you need them or why you don't need them right now. And then you don't just turn a network on. You need to build a relationship with your account manager. You need to leverage that account manager that's assigned to you when you join a network to understand and find the partners and publishers that you need. But in order to do that, you need to know what you want in the first place, because your account manager is not going to do the job for you. You need to be directing them and saying, we're joining this network. We're looking for these types of publishers. Can you fast track me into the partners that will be able to deliver these KPIs? And I think that's a piece that's sometimes always missing.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And I think I'd even go one further to really understanding brands having that communication loop with their account managers.
Yeah.
Maybe starting off with the kind of users you want to engage with. Because if you have a better understanding of the kind of customers that engage with or have an appetite for your product or your brand, you can then find the right publishers, almost like reverse engineering. where do you find those customers and which publishers can help you do that? So, you're 100% right in saying, I think just having that quantity of you can continue going and integrating with every network you find doesn't mean you're going to find net new customers or net new publishers, because you'd probably find, I'd like to say 80 or 90% of the publishers are going to be working across all of those platforms. But I think it's really important to build those relationships with the publishers. It's not something you can just turn it off in a day. I think publishers need to understand if they have the right users for your brand and products. So I think it's really important to grow that relationship over time, really kind of investing in that, almost like treating them as an extension of your own team.
You see, to do that, you'd need to believe in transparency. And a lot of brands still want to keep a very closed relationship. They don't want to actually share data. But what we're seeing in more recent years, and you hit the nail on the head at the beginning of this podcast, in the last 3 to 4 years, I've seen more developments and use cases where data and metrics have actually helped to exponentially grow a program really, really quickly. And there's hundreds of case studies out there, lots of awards that are being given for partnerships than what I have in the previous 10 years. So I mean, this isn't a doom and gloom podcast, but we are seeing this change slowly but surely. But it's generally always the bigger brands that make that move first because they feel comfortable in doing that. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're a smaller brand and you're not sharing metrics about your audience type, your avatar, how they're finding you, where there's gaps in the channels that you want to connect and meet with your customers, and you're not feeding that into your network, then you can only expect poor results because you're not coming to the table and having an open, transparent conversation.
100%. It's like, ChatGPT or AI, the output is only going to be determined by the prompt or the input that you put in, right? So if you're not really going to give them information about who you are, what you're trying to do, where you want to be in a few years, or what the strategy should be, and taking learnings from it, it's almost going to be a guessing game, which I don't think serves anyone.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about like full funnel mindset. Like, what does that mean? Because I recently just attended another event, which was awesome. And in a workshop that I was speaking to, I would say between 25 and like 40. So a younger user set than what I am, which I don't want to give away my age, but a lot of them were unsure of what their strategy should be, which to me was a little bit sad because they've had to learn on the fly. They're learning on the job. It's kind of why we're building this podcast, to actually help give people an understanding. Can you explain why segmenting your affiliate program and working with a multitude of publishers is the right strategy to take forward if you are a growing program? So let's take it like a middle of the road 2 to 3 year program trying to grow and scale. Yeah. Obviously, your strategy is very different for, a 0 to 12 month program that's just launched. You're going to just want to be onboarding affiliates all the time. But I would say, when you start thinking about networks, you're probably at year 2, 3, 4, 5, where you're looking to scale. You've probably tapped out a certain segment of publishers that you're already in partnership with. And generally speaking, those are normally SEO publishers or content publishers. Yeah. And that's when you start looking at alternative traffic sources. So talk a little bit about, why affiliate managers should be looking at the segmentation and how they go about that and how they can use that information to actually leverage growth within a network.
Sure. I think it all starts with finding the users where they are in the user journey, right? So it's really important starting with where the users are and really driving them towards the purchase funnel. So by engaging the audiences at, different levels or different stages, you also need to have a better understanding of where different publishers play the most important role at. So content, let's talk about content or creators. They play a great role in helping, users discover new brands, products, for instance. So they might sit top of the funnel, and then you might need, whether that's some kind of incentive driven, whether it's loyalty or cashback or vouchers or deals for users who've discovered a brand, but they might be looking at some kind of sense of urgency to help them push forward in that user funnel. And then obviously, as deep as you get into funnel, you need something to kind of drive a bit more intent. So I think over-indexing on one kind of publisher type is not going to give you a diversified publisher base or the kind of program you want to have, which is all encompassing. So it's really important to kind of think about, again, like I said before, I think it's really important to think about kind of users you feel are the right kind of demographics of the target market for your product.
Yeah.
Where are they going to be shopping? Where are they going to be looking for finding that next brand or product, and then help, kind of meeting them there, and then giving them what they need to shuffle them along in the next part of their user journey.
Yeah. So that's in terms of acquisition. But what we're seeing now with the data that we have is that affiliates or publishers, whatever your preferred term is for them, partners, they are actually operating in every single part of the customer lifecycle. So the initial purchase, repeat purchases, maybe even stealing customers from your competitors with competitive offers. So you don't only need to think top down, like top of funnel down to purchase place, but you also need to be thinking sideways.
Sure.
So when can these partners actually plug back into that funnel to help bring customers back, or monetize customers, and increase margins? You're not going to be thinking about that in the first year of your affiliate program, but you are going to be thinking about it when you're, massive and 5 years in and trying to grow an already big program. And I think that's really where the sweet spot is, to actually start talking with networks such as yourself to understand, where can you plug in? One would hope that at that point, you know what your strategy is, because if you don't, then, you're just going to end up. And here's the flip side of what happens when you do launch with multiple networks without purpose, is you end up making more work for yourself because there's more administration. You also can find publishers can find loopholes in pricing. So your procurement strength working across multiple networks becomes weaker. And you generally just lose the plot because now you've got too much data in different platforms and you don't really know what's actually happening. So your business intelligence becomes more intensive. In terms of finding the network to work with, what would be your advice? Because, if somebody was coming to you saying, is it the right time for me to launch in a network? When should I launch? How should I set this up? What should I do? What would be your best practice advice? Because obviously you work with hundreds of clients.
I think what's most important is, again, there is no blueprint because it really depends on what the advertiser is trying to achieve.
Right.
But I will say that a couple of things to look out for. One is the kind of publishers they work with, publisher diversity. How they work with those publishers. Is also really important to consider the platform and, the user interface. What does the reporting look like? How easy is it? If you use any kind of internal reports, whether that's, it could be GA or any kind of attribution kind of platforms, how easy is it to plug into and marry those two platforms together? Are there any APIs that you can kind of pull reporting in and then kind of accumulate the data that you might be looking at from multiple different sources? So it's important to think about that. It's also really important to maybe consider the competing brands that network works with, because, whilst having a strategy and having a really good understanding of who you want to work with is really important, I think everyone needs a North Star metric. What does good actually look like? And I think, I might know my brand really well, but I think it's great to understand the trends and insights of similar brands and what they're kind of facing, whether that's headwinds or tailwinds. And I think for you to have a good understanding of that and also prepare yourselves for those headwinds, it's important to look at the competing brands the network does work with, the learnings they've had. So I think, some of these networks are really good at doing QBR sessions and just kind of having playbooks of, who you should be working with, the kind of strategies that have been successful within that same vertical or space. What does, a good competitive commercial look like? What are the publishers actually looking for? Whether that's CPAs or whether that's tendencies or whether that's CPC, where's, the kind of latest trends that you should be testing. So I think those kind of things should definitely go into your decision-making kind of thought process when you're looking at a network to partner with.
Because it's not just about the tracking, and it's not just about plugging into the publisher database. It's about what is the full service that you're going to receive back. And I like what you said about the QBR stuff. That's never really been a question that I ask a network is, how often will you give me feedback? How many questions can I ask you to understand what my competitors are doing? Can you, because one of the things that just came to mind when you were talking about that is, what would be really helpful is if you did go to a network and you were, launched into them and you had similar competitors, what is the timing and the cadence that other brands are using in order to push and promote offers? Because something as simple as not doing an offer at the same time when everybody else is can actually get you more reach with publishers because you're not breaking through multiple noise. You know what I mean? So even simple tactics like that, I think you should be leveraging in your your network partner.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you also need to think about, do I, by not being competitive in this space or working with a particular kind of publishers or not being competitive in my commercials, am I going to be losing market share? Because if I'm not going to be there, my competitor most probably will be. So if that means I'm losing share of voice, I think it's really important to even kind of, being in that kind of playing field, you need to make sure that you're getting the right real estate. And then I think the right networks should be, will kind of be having that consultative approach to ensure that you're at the right place at the right time.
Well, on the flip side to that as well, I mean, affiliate managers can't be ignorant enough to think that partners will always want to work with them direct. Because if you're a really big publisher and you've got a small team and, resources is tight, chances are you're going to want to work with that brand. You're happy to take that brand offer, but you're going to want to do it through a platform and a network that you're already integrated into. You're not going to want to have to go sign up for a new account, set up a, payment mechanism, get verified, fill out the millions of forms that need to be filled out for KYC, but then you've lost interest in the program already. So it's almost also an enabling tactic to enable you to actually work with publishers that maybe aren't in the ecosystem that you're already working in.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I think it's so important to also think about, where there's brands looking to expand in other regions, does that network actually have presence in, some of the other markets that might be a P1 or priority 1 or priority 2 for me? Because I think in my experience, most advertisers who might be running multi-regional affiliate programs, all the data and, all of the publisher base and reporting kind of accumulated at one place. And especially if you have one team or certain stakeholders that look after, different kind of geos, it's really important that you can, for optimum knowledge sharing, it's really important that you can have all of that running through one platform. So those kind of regions that are siloed, but, kind of helping each other grow as well.
But also use your tracking tactics to kind of group publisher types together so that you can mitigate risk. Yeah, and if, there's a bad player that comes into the mix, you can exclude them. Because that's the other thing, is one small thing happens and everybody's tarred with the same brush. And that's actually not the case. I've had some really, really successful network relationships that plugged into a mainstream program. And, just by working together and being transparent and spotting things and keeping vigilant in terms of the publisher types and people that you're letting onto your program, have built really solid relationships. So we've kind of covered quite a lot. We've covered like why you should do it, the transparency behind doing it, the benefits of doing it, the risk and mitigation factors of working with a network. What I want to talk about now is best practices. If you're a 2 to 5 year old program, you're thinking about working with an affiliate network outside of the network or tracking solution that you're currently plugged into as a secondary like partnership space, what are the best practices that you would recommend to people to actually set up and go correctly without making mistakes, like shortcut the success metric for us now?
I think the most important ones would definitely be, firstly, diversification of your publishers, something that we spoke about. So you're reaching out to those, different kind of sets of audiences, meeting your customers where they are. So diversification of publisher types. And
you can limit that, right? Like you can go to a network and say, I actually only want you to bring me influencers. That's all I want you to focus on right now, is bring me the influencers in this market, and that's your niche and that's your lane, and that's what I'm going to pay you for. You don't have to have everything always on, and you don't have to do everything just because it's on tap, right?
If it works for your brand, then 100%. I think, like I said, it's really important to understand what you're trying to achieve. Maybe think about, I love the fact that more and more brands in the affiliate space are now thinking about lifetime value of users, was something that we didn't hear 5 years ago. So I think the better you understand where their ROI and LTV is coming from, the high value customers, then you can incentivize your publishers accordingly. Whilst I might not agree with kind of alienating one set of publishers, you can incentivize them in a way that kind of works for you and feeds into, what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. And I mean, the conversation is always there to be had, right? Just if you don't ask, you don't get. That's kind of my motto. If you don't have those conversations with those publishers and say, well, actually, I only want you to be doing this bit. Can you actually accommodate that? Is that good business sense for you? Okay, great, let's go. If it's not, then okay, maybe not this time, but we'll come back to you in maybe 6 months' time once we've achieved whatever we're trying to achieve right now. We don't have to think that everything's always a yes, no, black, white. There's a million shades of gray in affiliate marketing, and that's what I kind of want people to remember.
You're so right. And I think, this is why playing the long game is really, really important. Relationships takes time to build, and also publishers need to test whether that product, you've got the right sort of product market fit for their audiences. It's not something that you can set up an affiliate program today and you'll be making, hundreds of thousands tomorrow. Your product's going to be selling off the door. So I think it's really important to play that long game, really understand what you're trying to achieve, and then kind of orchestrate the right strategy that allows you to do that, building a sustainable long-term affiliate program.
Love the fact that you touched on time and patience. It's the one thing that we all need, but it's the one thing that we don't have. In this industry, everybody wants everything immediately. But in affiliate, you are dealing with people, and their timelines are not your timelines. So as much as you want to be able to push and grow and get campaigns live, you are at the mercy of the partners that you are working with. So you need to be understanding and collaborative and kind of plan ahead as well. Okay, let's talking about ahead. I want to get your take on what you think the future of affiliate marketing looks like in the next 3 to 5 years, especially as we're seeing this influx into AI and, agents that can be built and GPTs and all the other kind of buzzwords that are happening. What do you think people should be looking out for and trying to integrate into affiliate program management right now? And maybe give us an insight into what you guys are looking at.
Sure. So I think AI you touched on. So I think AI and automating workflows for increasing efficiencies, I think that's really, really important. A lot of companies have started doing that, whether that's kind of, chatbots talking to your customer, or whether that, you're using some kind of AI kind of workflows internally. There's a space for all of that. And I think AI is really changing the game. So I think if, as affiliate managers, if we're not educated on AI, I think we're behind the trend right now. So It's definitely a time to educate yourselves. I think the other thing I would say is we are definitely seeing more robust tracking and getting better identifying leakages. Talking about skimmings, we've done a lot of work in the last 12 months working with Moonpool, for instance. We've done comprehensive audits across a lot of our advertiser links to really help us get a better understanding and gauge on how a CMP is being implemented, and whether or not affiliate tracking is firing when it should be, and how many of users from a certain brand are accepting cookies, and what does that mean? Does it mean that X percentage of our publishers are really good at sending traffic, but that traffic's not converting because the user hasn't accepted the cookies? So I think it's really important to understand, are publishers being incentivized in a fair and reasonable way? So I do feel that that's definitely happening now, because of thankfully to the right companies that we have helping us do a lot of that heavy lifting.
Do you feel like we are getting a little bit more target driven? But we've always been pay on performance, but we have the data and we have the capability and we have the kind of like APIs and everything that can pull together to give us that better insight than what we had 10, 15 years ago. We were operating blind because we didn't have the sophisticated tools and technology that we have right now to really dig deeper into the numbers.
It's really interesting. I feel like somehow we always had the tech, but because a lot of people are really scared to come face to face with those numbers, I think people are scared to use it. But we're definitely seeing people are not afraid to talk about this. And I think that the dialogue and the conversation is really evolved, and I think that's what we need. The affiliate industry, I knew 10 years ago, would not want to talk about a lot of those important topics, whereas now we're a lot more confident talking about first parties and third party and tracking and attribution, and what's actually serving the industry now and what's not, and what's outdated. So I think that's been great to see, because conversations like these act as a catalyst for change.
They do. And it also opens up the doors for everybody to participate in the conversation, because it's not just a select group of people that are, have been in the industry a long time or are sitting on governing boards or whatever talking about it. Everybody can play a part in this conversation. You just have to be willing to educate yourself and actually dig deep and be brave and think about, if you do find some stuff that doesn't look great, now's the opportunity to change it and, change the course of your affiliate program at the same time. So I'm going to do a fast action round, which I've never done before. So you're my guinea pig, and hopefully this is going to work out well, where I ask you a bunch of yes, no answers in a really, really quick way. So as we wrap up, end on a high, because we've spoken about quite a lot of things and we've given quite a lot of information. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and all you need to do is say yes or no. And this is purely from your viewpoint. So here we go. There's 10 questions. Sub-networks are underrated.
Yes.
Okay. Last click attribution is outdated.
Yes.
Transparency and trust will define the next era of affiliate marketing.
Yes.
Every brand should run content partnerships.
Yes, if it works for you. Every brand should consider it.
Affiliate is performance only, not branding.
False.
Full funnel affiliate measurement is achievable.
Yes.
Networks are still essential in 2025.
Yes, in most cases.
AI will disrupt how partners are recruited.
AI will support how partners are recruited.
Okay, I like that answer. Partner diversity equals stronger affiliate programs.
Yes.
Affiliate is not about one moment. It's about all of the customer moments.
Yes and yes.
Okay, 100% agree with all of those answers. So thank you for taking part in that. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this week. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I really hope that all of you listening in are going to have a new and refreshed approach to working with affiliate networks, but also get to grips with what your strategy is and then go and seek and find the opportunities that exist there. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for contributing to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this week.
Thank you, Leanne. Thanks for having me.
And that's a wrap for this week's episode, folks. Huge thanks to Everflow.io for sponsoring this season's podcast, bringing speakers like Gaurav on the mic to get a deeper understanding of how networks and sub-networks still play a critical role in building successful and scalable affiliate programs. Remember, affiliate isn't about one moment. It's about how you understand, track, and leverage all the moments it embraces across the customer journey in your business, from discovery and engagement to conversions and beyond. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a great review. And if you're ready to level up your affiliate game, head on over to aviversemedia.com and join our newsletter for more expert content, tools, and weekly free training. Plus, if you're keen to learn, come and join us at this year's Elevate Summit, taking place in London on the 15th and 16th of July. If you want to read more about that, you can head on over to our Elevate Summit page link in the show notes below. If you're feeling brave and you want to ask a question and get the answer to that question in the next couple of weeks, complete the submission form on the show notes below, and we'll do our best to answer it as well. Until next time, keep partnering smart, and thanks for tuning in to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this week. The Elevate Summit 2025 is here. Just join us on July 15th and 16th for the premier affiliate and digital marketing event this summer. This year, we're focusing on traffic, where innovation meets inspiration, and we're helping SME brands and affiliates to scale. Elevate is more than just another summit or affiliate conference. It's a transformative experience designed by industry veterans for those ready to embrace the future of performance marketing to grow their businesses. Connect with forward thinkers, affiliate pioneers, SaaS tools, and decision makers as you engage with cutting-edge strategies, immersive masterclasses, and strategic networking opportunities. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a budding SME entrepreneur, Elevate offers insights, tools, and connections to revolutionize your approach to bringing more sales into your business. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this dynamic community. Visit aviversemedia.com, click the Elevate button, and book your conference ticket to find out about our sponsorship and speaker opportunities today.